Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. It's Friday the 16th of February 2024. Right, back on the Bonnie, try and get some momentum going after the last video that I'll be posting today, which finally gets things moving again after a bit of layoff due to not being very well. But anyway, we're back, so let's try and keep some momentum going, and especially today, because it's a beautiful bright day. Sun's just gone in for now, but it's warm. So we'll get on with finishing off the spraying up the internal bits and pieces. You can see I've got them hanging up there. I didn't put the washing line up as normal. I just thought I'd hang them from the steps. It's easier. So we'll crack on doing that. And also, let me just put the light on here because I'll show you something else. What we'll focus on today as well, in this video, is finally working out the assembly of the rear brake caliper and, more importantly, the slave cylinder. And had a bit of an epiphany because I came back in here this morning and got the other bits and pieces out of the box that had been prepared, and realised actually that one of the plates I thought was for this. It's one of these two. These two are actually for the silencer mounting that hang off the back here on each side, and the one that I really wanted was that one, which I think will look like the parts book, but I've got to check that yet. So everybody that was screaming at me in the last video saying, "Dummy, you've got the wrong part," you're absolutely correct. Okay, so you can see there's quite a bit going on here, but let's crack on with putting a couple more coats on all these items outside. So I've got brackets going on over here on the poor old steps, which have led a hard life since my childhood. And then these over here are mainly, as you can see, the parts that will make up the battery hanger, electrical side of it, and the two internal side covers. What I've got to do as well is just what I remember is we've got the air boxes as well to sort out. These are actually alley, but I believe they were originally painted like they are on the BSAs. So we've got those to do, but we might not get those done today. But anyway, let's crack on and see how far we can get in the beautiful weather before it breaks, because over the weekend it's going to be chucking it down, I think. Right, they're up on the washing line in the garage just to harden off. But I'm going to need to rub these down and give them another couple of coats when the weather allows. And then in the meantime, I can put some undercoat on the plenum chambers. Speaking of the plenum chamber stroke air boxes, you may remember that when we removed this one, which is the left hand, because this is on the inside, we noticed that it'd been cracked here. So this is where the backside of the fixing bolt for the outer cover goes, and it's captive in this recess, in this aluminium recess, but this side had fractured off, which meant the bolt head would turn. And so what they'd done is repaired it crudely by putting a grub screw in here. But what I've just done is I've built this side up with a bit of Lumi weld, and it seems to have adhered really well. So we'll let it cool off properly, and then we'll just dress this side of it, the inner edge of it, and then we should be good to go. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And once we've done that, then we'll spray up these just on the inside outer, I'll just show you what it looks like on the other side. The other side is where the air filter sits. This is still a bit hot at the minute. Let me show you on the other one. So we won't spray up the inside of the plenum chamber. This is covered by the outer cover, which we've already sprayed up. But we will spray up this side, which is correct, and just with a quick coat of black over primer. Right, well, we've got the inside surface of the plenum chambers stroke air filter housings cleaned up and painted up okay. As I say, I've just painted the outer surfaces, but not the inner surfaces. And what I managed to do with this captive recess for the bolt is I managed to get a bit of Lumi-Weld tacked on there. I've not been able to grind it too much or dress it on this side too much because I didn't want to damage the rest of it, and so I couldn't go at it with an angle grinder. But I've managed to slightly file enough off so that a bolt head will sit in there, and we don't have to use the sort of grub screw to try and keep it in there that the previous owner had done. So that's those sorted out. The other one's down there too, so that's good. And then we're on to mudguards. We need to get on with these. You keep looking at them and putting it off and putting it off. So I need to give them a good wash, but the main thing is the rear mudguard. Well, they both don't look too bad until you get close up, and then you realise there's this area here and all down that edge where the rear brake fluid reservoir had been leaking, and that's great stuff for taking paint off. So what we decided to do with this is, because the stripes are in good condition, I'll just paint the whole of this guard with the silver and just mask off the stripe at the back there. But as you can see, quite a bit of prep to do on this, and especially on gotta be a bit careful with this, on the underside too. It needs all cleaning up. Not sure what paint's on the underside, whether it's original or not, but we'll spray that up as well. And yeah, there's a bit of dressing to do with these edges, so I think that's going to be fairly straightforward. It's just going to require some labour, but the front mudguard is going to be a bit more intricate. Here we go. Bear with you. Whoops, that ain't going to help. So front mudguard, this is the bottom edge. You can see there's that where the paint looks as though originally it hasn't adhered very well. Then it's been scratched at some point. How that's happened, I don't know. And then you've got this corrosion on the bottom edge as well. But the rest of it is pretty good. A little bit on the front there, but that'll I haven't touched that in with paint. So what I think I'm going to do with this is, well, what I was going to do was, obviously you've got a line there that's covered underneath the bracket, so it'd be pretty easy to paint this without having to flash it into the rest of the guard. But now we've got that to consider, we might have to end up doing all the silver on this one, and then trying to fill and touch these in a little bit. But anyway, first things first, we need to give both the guards a good wash. The underside of that one, this bracket's already been painted with some proprietary stuff, so I don't know whether it was galvanized or not, but we'll see when we clean it up. But the good news is that the bottom stay here is chrome, and it's in very good condition. But again, you look at certain things on this, like here, seems to be mounted all right. The nuts and bolts are okay, but then why has it got that thick washer there but not on the other side? I don't know, don't understand. maybe we'll find out when we take it off, and we'll find maybe the holes elongated or something on there. But anyway, first things first, let's wash these guards and take it from there, and also take off the brackets. Right, got the brackets off, brackets and stays off the front mudguard, and solved another bit of a conundrum. So the front brace here is broken. So there's an extension out the front here, which I know was to stiffen the front of the mudguard, and that's missing. And that explains why there's this sort of strange plug being put in, where the extension to that bracket would have been bolted. And this, I presume, is the modified bracket from the original wire stay ones from the earlier 70s, where originally these mudguards were 2-wire when BSA first designed them, and they found that on the longer fronted UK ones, these used to vibrate and fracture because they weren't supported well enough, except for those that had a front number plate secured, and they were all right because the front number plate acted as a stiffener. And on this, they've obviously, or on the later Bonnies, they've obviously changed it to this more substantial front bracket, plus originally there'd been an extension on that. So we'll go on online and just, or actually in the parts book, and check that out, because I think we'll probably have to have a new bracket. We'll see how much they are, and we can sort that out. Right, okay. Right, in the parts book, which was lying nearby, and there we are. There's the front bracket with the extension out the front, and that's what we're missing. So we'll nip online and see if we can get one of those, and what the investment is. Right, got a new bracket, stiffener bracket, mounting bracket, ordered for the front mudguard. Well, it's not a new one, it's a second-hand one, but it's in good condition, and it's already been painted in silver, so we'll just have to give that a tart up. You can get brand new pattern ones for these as well, but they usually come in black because they're used across the T140 range at the time. So we're sorted on that one anyway, that's on the way. And I've now done an initial clean of the two guards here. And what I've decided to do, I didn't think about the paint scheme and stuff on this. And I think what I'm going to do is, as you know, on this front mudguard, the lower stay wraps around here, the chrome stay, which is that one there, wraps around the bottom here. And I think what I'm going to do is, because obviously we've got the paint aberrations and a bit of corrosion down there, but also, more importantly, we've got that area there. I think I'm going to do with this front mudguard the same as what I intend to the back mudguard, and that is to mask off the stripes, the Union Jack stripes, and rub down, prepare, etc., and spray all the silver areas, because there's quite a few aberrations on this rear guard, which I showed you in a previous clip. It's all on the other side, relating to the rear brake reservoir leaking and taking the paint off. But what I'm going to do on the front mudguard here is, rather than try and replicate the Union Jack stripe down the bottom here, I'm probably going to mask it off across here, or just underneath where the stay comes across, and we'll just stripe it across here, and then I won't have to try and reproduce Kingfisher blue here. I think it's Kingfisher blue, Aztec red, and then the white, and I'll just try and finish off this, square off the pinstripes at the bottom here in the same way that they've done just there. And it's interesting that they've done that at sort of both ends of this guard anyway, but on the front mudguard they've done it at the front, but then at the back they haven't done it, so it'll sort of equalise it anyway. So I'm not sure whether that's right or not. It's probably not original the way that I'm going to do it, but it'll just make this easier to tidy up. I can all, as I say, just square it off just above, you know, where this bloody great scratch is here. I don't know how that happened at all and what caused that, but anyway, it did. So that's the plan. So next thing is, as I say, I've just given these a wash and in soapy water, but there's quite a lot of prepping to do now. But we'll degrease them first. They're beginning to clean up on the underside, but they need quite a bit of work and prepping. I'm not sure what to finish the underside off with really, whether to use something like a silver hammerite or something like that, smooth, to protect it. I mean, I'm gonna prep it properly, so it's not a case of trying to cover up rust, etc. We'll get all that off. We'll put some de-rust or anti-rust on there that we've got in stock from the prep of the other bracket, etc., etc., and we'll take it from there. So before we end this video, let's do one or two more clips prepping these up in preparation for spraying them. So let's get down to a bit of elbow grease. Right, next day I'm still cracking on, continuing to prep things up a bit slowly, but hoping to make more progress today. So in the last clip there, we were focused on the front mudguard. Let's just have a quick look at the rear mudguard. So the underside of this has already been painted with something like smooth hammerite, I think, but it's been put on top of rust that hasn't been cleaned down very well. So I've decided I'm going to put I'm going to strip this off with something like Nitromors, prep it a bit better, kill rust it, and then we'll do it again so that we haven't got any rot coming up from the underside, of which there is a bit coming here. So that's all right, that's easy enough to do when I find the requisite proprietary materials, shall we say. A little bit of news, the replacement front mudguard stiffener stroke bracket has come. It was a bit bent out of shape, but I've gently teased it back. It's in good nick, still in its original plating. We'll clean that up and see what it looks like, but I think I'll put a coating of silver paint over that because rust is coming through in places. But it's in good condition, and £8, can't complain at that. And then the final thing, just as an update, been chipping away at this rear brake caliper, and it's coming up okay. Greg has sent me a few tips regarding cleaning this up with a bit of acid, either hydrochloric acid or muriatic acid, I think he said. But actually it's cleaning up pretty well actually, and I think you know, another go at this on the grinding wheel, sorry, on the wire wheel, I'll have it ready to put some paint on it. And we are using proper brake caliper paint as well, silver. So I think we're going to be okay with this. I'm going to do it without trying to well, we're masking off or covering over the brake pads themselves, because I don't want to disturb these split pins, because I haven't got any replacements. I don't think we ordered anyway replacement brake pads and stuff. I mean, there's tons of meat on those anyway. So yeah, we're just going to make sure we cover over the area with the brake pads, and obviously the pistons down there, which again are not corroded, so that's good. So as you can see, yeah, it's coming up okay. So I don't think we're going to go to too drastic measures, too much of a drastic measure for that, to finish that off. So I'm going to crack on with that, get the underside of this stripped off, front mudguard, get this rubbed down a lot better with some pretty coarse stuff like emery probably, and then we'll put some de-rust on that, and then we'll paint the underside of the front mudguard with the same as we choose. I think I've got some silver hammerite in stock, but if not, we can get some, and that should be good for those. Right, I'll crack on, and I'll bring you back in a bit with an update. Right, a bit of labouring and a couple of hours later. So the underside of the front mudguard, we're about back to bare metal. There's a bit left up that end to do, but you can see what we actually suspected, and that is that paint was applied previously over rust. So what we'll do is make sure we sand all that down to a smooth surface, and then we'll put some rust killer on it and rust preventer before we then give it a top coat. So a bit more work to do on that side, but getting there anyway. Quite good progress there, and then obviously we've got the other side to prep and to make sure that we mask off and protect the blue line, or the Union Jack line, if you like. Back mudguard coming on in a similar fashion. I've just put another application of paint predator on it, but I don't. This is different stuff that's on this. It's taking a bit more for it to actually penetrate it and lift it. It's going. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's paint coming off now. Yeah, it is lifting it. Okay. Good. And then finally made some good progress on the rear brake caliper. So I've got that finally all wire wheeled up down to the casting, bare casting, masked off the brake pads and the pistons, and applied, well, as it suggested, 3 coats of brake caliper paint. I think that's come up really well, so we'll leave that to harden off. Right, I'll come back probably in a couple of days' time with another clip on this once we've got the other guard done, and then we'll call this video a day. But anyway, good progress today. Okay, next day. So I'm now going to crack on with the front mudguard and rub this down with emery, and then I'll put some kill rust on it. Just still looking here to see if that's still got some plating on it. But anyway, we need to try and get that surface rust off anyway. We'll say treat it, and then I will spray it to protect it. But I was a bit concerned with the underside of the back mudguard here as to whether or not the paint remover would take whatever they'd put on it off, because it seemed quite robust stuff. But anyway, decided to leave it overnight, and you can see the result of that. It's blistered it beautifully. So right, I'll get on with cleaning that off now. Right, as you saw, the blistered paint was coming off really easy, and you can't see it very well on here, but underneath that there were all sorts of things going on with what looked like to be a red oxide primer and all manner of things. But so I got the main bulk of it off, but there's a bit left on it, so I'll put another coat of paint stripper on it, and we'll leave that to soak in, and then we'll be able to finish that off and, as I say, get it probably emeryed off, and then get this one sort of rust treated as well, because there is quite a bit under there. Right, hours of prep later, and you can see that underneath on this rear mudguard what was thought to be a reasonable coat of paint. There was a bit of pitting. There's actually a lot, and as you can see, I've been at it with emery and wire wheel on the drill for quite a long while, and it's pitted, so I'll get as much of this out as I can. I've already done an awful lot actually, and some of these you just can't get out really. There was one place that I saw there's sort of bubbles, if you like, almost. So that's really quite well etched in. So we'll give this a coat of rust converter. Probably give it another bit of a go with a while. We'll give it all a coat of rust converter, and then we'll leave that on a while to dry and convert. That'll take a while, and then we'll see what the surface ends up. We're not going to get a perfect surface on this ever, not unless we do a load of filling and God knows what. But as it's the underside, we will give it some decent coats of paint and try and get a reasonable finish on it. Now the front mudguard's better. But again, what we thought was okay has ended up with some pits, especially at the bottom end here, which we suspected anyway. So again, we'll get some rust converter on that. And then we'll, for this video, we'll call it a day. But we still haven't prepped fully yet, because once we've got the converter on this side, then we've got to prep on the other side. Let's put it back over here and then you can see. But what we've managed to do, which we're careful of, is make sure we don't damage the central Union Jack stripe. But then we've got some sanding to do and prep of the silver areas, which we'll do once we've masked off this central line. And that's the same with the rear mudguard too. We've been careful to try and maintain that that stripe and not splash any paint remover, etc. on it. Right, we'll get that soaked in rust converter, and then I'll bring you back in the next video to see how we've got on, because we'll leave that a few days to really convert and dry up. All right, everybody, we'll leave it there for now. Not a very interesting set of clips really, but as everybody knows, the road to a successful finish with painting is all the blooming prep work that you've got to do with it. But hopefully, you know, rooting out and converting all this rust will improve the longevity of the guard anyway, and protect it in the future. Right, thanks very much for watching, everybody. Thanks for any subscriptions. Thanks for your interest and comments. And I'll see you all again soon. I think the next video I'll probably do will be just a resume of what we're planning to do event-wise and project-wise this year. Okay, everybody, thanks again. Bye-bye.